Hi everybody. Today is Friday, of course, everybody knows that. Unless you're in another country, it could be Saturday. And I wanted to show you my dog's food. She loves this stuff. It's gravy, pieces of good meat, some carrots, some potatoes, and it's supposed to have green beans in it also. And this is her afternoon snack. So the kind we get, this is one of them with the London Grill vegetables. She just loves that. Paid less than like 88 cents for that. And then this is the other one that she really likes. This doesn't have any vegetables in it. What I usually do is I either put in a microwave a small baked potato, cut it up for her, put this on top, or white rice, instant white rice, and I mix it in because this has a lot of gravy. She really seems to enjoy them. So I did another AMSR video. I've actually uploaded this will be like my 8th video this week, so I'm doing pretty good on that. I get into my moods where I want to do it and then weeks at a time I don't. So I'm just trying to pre-record some. So if I get into that mood, like maybe tomorrow I'll get in that mood or I have a lot of work to do for school, then I'll just go ahead and upload what I have. So I'm not going a very long time without uploading because, you know, people want to see new, fresh stuff. So yeah, that's what I'm doing there. I'm going to do a couple more while my husband's out. He has to go get a shot for college. The last time he got it was 4 weeks ago, and he got really ill for 3 days. So he has to get it done on a Friday because he goes to school Monday through Friday. So he just went up there. It's about an hour and a half drive up there, 5 seconds for a shot, an hour and a half to come back home. So that's ridiculous, but he should just be able to go to the emergency room and get it done, I think. And then he'll get another one done in about 6 months, and then he'll be all set with that. And my update is school. For my sustainability class, I did my posting, and we had to answer 3 questions. And I wrote it in Word. I wrote it like a paper. It took me 3 hours to answer 3 questions about sustainability. Like I said yesterday, it was basically our natural capital, which is the resources that we use on a daily basis. Cutting down trees, animals grazing, farmers, pollution. What are we doing to put into the pollution that's killing the world, which oxygen is our natural capital. So it's stuff like that. And so my teacher said I did a good job. I got a 95 for that one. This is my 3rd class. So I got 100 my first one, a 95 my second, 95 my third. She only grades us on the discussion. She wants it to be at least 2 paragraphs long, which is about 40 sentences. And then she wants us to respond to at least 3 people. But you can't go on there and say, wow, you opened my eyes, I never knew. You have to write like a paragraph at least. She wants conversation because this is what this is. And then we have a sustainability journal. So that's the only thing I gotta do. This class didn't come with any books. So she provides videos. She wants us to go to the website she gives us. And then she'll give us things to read on the internet. And then she'll ask 1 question every week. And we answer it with what we learned. So we have to quote at least 1 thing. It could be from the video. It can be from your readings. It can be looking at data like she had us do. So I put that in 1961, it said North America did not use any CO2, carbon, like put carbon into the air. And she said, oh, no, that can't be true. You must have not understood what you read. She's like, oh, it's always going to be, when we first started to develop, it would have been at least 1%, no more than 4%. So I wrote back and I said, it's the data that you had us look at on the internet. And when I put in North America and I put in how many Earths would it take for everybody, if everybody lived like me, how many Earths would it take for us to survive and not die off? And it broke everything down, and it was about 8 different things. Carbon was the first one, and it said from 1961 to about 1972, 75, it said 0. And then it started to increase, and every year they updated this data, and they stopped 2013 for some reason. So 2013, it said 3.55 Earths would need to be made if everybody lived the same exact way. So I kind of can read zeros and 3.55s. So if I have to, I'll take a screenshot and show her that's exactly what it says. It's not my data. It's what you want us to look at, and we did. So she just thinks I just misread it or misunderstood what it was trying to say, which, because of my dyslexia, I get that all the time, which is a little annoying. And then she said that for our carbon footprint, we have to take a screenshot of it, and we have to send that to her. And then we have to write, there's 2 questions that go along with that. And I can't remember both of them, but one was like, were you surprised at what it told you? Answering the questions. And then I believe the other one is, what do you think you personally can do to bring that down? Well, I can't do anything else to bring down. The first time I did it a year and a half ago was for another class. I got 2.5 Earths. Year and a half later, I'm getting 1.5 Earths is needed if everybody lived like me. Unfortunately, you have to get around. So when I talked about this, I talked about how I changed. Because she asked me, she was like, well, can you tell me what you did to make it come down? Because it's very unusual for you to get that to come down, especially so drastically. And I told her, when I lived in North Concord, my mom had to take me to school. I volunteered on the weekends. I was coming out here 7 days a week. Roughly 18 miles one way. I don't drive because of my health. So my mom would have to drive me and go back. Every week, I was using 252 miles. Gallons of gas. My mom gets about 22, 25 miles of gas for each mile. So you do the math just on that alone. You do the math on the actual driving and how much CO2 is going into the atmosphere from just driving. We recycled, not at first, we recycled when we were forced to. But when I took that class, we were not forced to recycle, so we really didn't. Out here, people don't come and get your trash. You have to drop your trash off. You have to pay per bag. Everything has to be sorted out properly. You can get a fine if you don't. So it's a little bit different than living in the city, and they come to your house and you just put your trash out there, recycling bins. Where my sister was living, you can pay $40 a month, and they'll come take your trash, and they'll come take your recycling. But you have to have kind of like a sticker on your trash that proves that you paid the $40 for the year. So, you know, the Going Green is a very small place. It's a small place, but like everything's so far away. We don't have a Walmart. We have to go to New Hampshire to go to Walmart. GameStop. They have a better Sears out there. Like Shores, Stop and Shop. All that's out there. We have Price Chopper. We have Waits Market. And then we have a Dollar Tree. Basically, that's where you do your shopping out here. Even pretty much the meat markets are also all out there. They're not really out here. Especially if you can't drive, you can't get to places that you need to because the buses, it's a very small bus. Like I said, it's not a big city. Burlington, about an hour away, has buses 7 days a week, start at like 5 o'clock in the morning, run like every 30 minutes. Out here, we have buses every day but Sunday. But if you need to go to the grocery store, say it picks up at 9, it picks up, it's not very far from its last stop where White's Market is. They get like a 15-minute break, they get back on the bus, and they continue, they do their round trip. You're not going to be able to shop in like 20, 25 minutes. So now you have to sit there and wait at least an hour and a half for the next bus. Sometimes 2 hours. So that's what I'm talking about. They stop very early. They stop buses at like 5 o'clock. It's just crazy. The one going up to my school, the last one is at 4:35. So if you have a 5:30, 6 o'clock class, sometimes you do, you have to walk unless you want to sit there for like an hour. Nobody really wants to do that. So that's something else that we have to do. It's kind of got to be hard for me to say, well, this is what I could do to change because I've already done so much. I now recycle. I forget about paper here for some reason, but we recycle everything. Cardboard, jars, plastic, cans, aluminum cans. We reuse shopping bags that we get from grocery shopping. I'll use them to put my husband's lunch in. I use them just to store like makeup and stuff. If I want to divide my makeup, I just use that instead of like a box or something. I'm going out and buy something. I use them for trash bags. Put lint in them. And when it's full, throw it out. I give them to the church up the street from me. People go there when they need food. They can go there once a month. And I give them the plastic bags so they can use them so people can take their stuff with them. Because they don't get provided anything like that. I also take my empty containers like aspirin or anything like that that's not too big. Like this. When I use it, I will rinse it out real good and give it to them. And they usually put detergent in it. Or if somebody needs cleaning product and they have it, they'll fill it up and give that to them. You know, toothbrush, toothpaste, you can drop things off. Sometimes they have diapers, sometimes they have food for the little kids that are still eating out of jars. Pretty good place. So I do that to help out. The recycling. I now can walk wherever I need to go. White's Market is 1 mile away from me. It takes me usually 15 minutes to walk there, but to walk home with groceries, it'll take me like 30, 40 minutes, depending on what I buy. Family Dollar, Rite Aid to pick up medicine. It's all close by. School's up the road if I need to go there. The Learning Center's across the street from where I live. I really don't need to go and personally me drive anywhere. So I'm saving, I would say, 200 miles a month right now. Times 12 months. I've been living here for almost a year. Right there, that's a big decrease. Turning off lights when I'm not using them, using LCD lights, buying appliances, electronics that are energy efficient. My computer uses, it's a half a penny every hour to run my computer. My old computer, it was $0.25 an hour to run it. Right there, that's a big decrease. You don't realize it when you think about it, but it is. So I don't know what I can really do to help the environment any more than what I've already have. You know, I make sure I recycle like batteries, electronics. In the city, we just put in the trash. Nobody ever said anything. For people who don't know, bottles that for water, it takes 63 bottles recycled to make what's called fabric plastic. And they use this to make certain items. I've talked about this like a couple weeks ago when I first learned about it. They use it for raincoats to help make them. They use them to help make tents, to insulate properly sleeping bags. They can make t-shirts and sweaters from them also. And that's just briefly what I found out, which is really cool. Yeah, it costs money to go ahead and actually recycle these things, but we're making new things from them. So I think it's kind of worth it, because they're not sitting in the landfill, they're not taking up, they're not decomposing, they're not causing erosion for our lands. And then I learned last week that there's metals that we can use instead of mining. And we can continuously recycle these over and over again. We save a lot of money doing it. And that's a lot less CO2 going to the atmosphere. If you mine metals and you want to recycle them, you can only recycle them once, because then they degrade and you cannot do it anymore. And that product, that waste product, has to go somewhere. So these are just a few things that I did learn so far the past 3 weeks. And then she asked a question, if we didn't use what's called the GDE or GDP, which is unemployment, welfare, disability, how many people get medical, food stamps, employment status, it's stuff like that. And they chose to use happiness to say if you're successful or not. So are you on the poor, lower class? Are you on the working stash, or are you on like the rich stash? Yeah, I didn't pronounce that right. Okay. So I said, well, if there's a lot of people who are unhappy in this world, they are. We all know that. People going around making bombs, trying to blow people up, stealing, doing drugs, having records, DUIs, not going to work, depressed, don't want to get up, self-harm. All this stuff is there. We know it's there. So it was like, what would happen in Vermont or in another country? So I said, well, if you're unhappy, you're going to be sad. If you're sad, you can get depression from it. And that can cause a lot of different things. You can say, well, I'm not going to go to work because it doesn't matter what I do. I'm not going to get a raise. Nobody says I'm doing any good. I do extra work. I have to redo my work because they don't tell me everything I need to know. I'm very unhappy. Then you stop overeating or not eating, not sleeping, because now you're unhappy. It can stress you out. So you're not going to sleep. Or you want to do is sleep. Or you push people away. You become mentally and verbally, physically abusive. Increased drug problems. Increased drinking. Some people do drugs, they get violent. Or they just don't care about what they're doing because they can't function properly to know, I shouldn't get behind the wheel and kill somebody. Go through somebody's house. These are all different things that can happen if you are unhappy. You can have strokes and heart attacks. You can get high blood pressure. You can have low blood pressure. There's so many things that can happen that people just don't realize. So these are the things that I utilized. I did also online research, and I cited my sources so that people could look at them. Another thing I talked about for CO2 is that there is a carbon tax. Not in America yet, but there is overseas, and China has it. And the minute they started taxing people on how much CO2 they're putting into the environment, these people found another way. They found a healthy way. Now, for people who don't know, I thought, when I learned a year ago, there was only one major town or city in China that you can't live in, because you will die. That's it. You walk in, you're dead. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. They had to put this thing around it to keep the CO2 in there because it's so unsafe. Well, I came across a site that talks just about China. And they talked about 3 major cities that nobody can live in. And can't knock them down, can't do anything with it because it's unsafe. So that was one of the sources that I cited that actually have pictures that were taken in space to show what these places look like. Gotta make you think. I know Obama was trying to get carbon tax done out here, and it needs to be done, because that's when people are gonna say, I gotta figure out something because I can't afford this. And it's so simple. And I talked about Africa. There's a Green Africa company, and when they realized how bad Africa was doing and people were dying and drinking water that they urinate in and just totally disgusting, drinking algae that can kill you, they went out there and they said, this is what you can do, where you know, because you can't go to the store and buy fertilizer to produce better crops. Use your urine. This is put in a container, 2 water, 1 cup of urine. 2 cup of water, 1 urine. Boom. You go ahead and you do it. You only got to do it 4 times during the season. It's not hard at all. It's great for the crops. So they did research to prove to Africa people, that tribes, that you can do this. So the African people just continued to farm like they usually do. And this company went in there and did the urine. And at the end of the season, they showed them, see all this you got? See all this you got. The food lasted longer. It was bigger. It tasted better. And it produced more crops. That now, nobody is going hungry. You're eating something. It may not be a lot of something, but you're eating something. You're not going weeks and days without food or a little piece of bread or a little thing of rice. They also donated water filters that they created, that you can go to the scummiest, dirtiest water and you fill it up and it fertilizes, it cleans it, and it comes crystal clear. They tested the water to prove there was nothing bad in it. And there wasn't. And they donated this to these people so that they can have good water. Now, if you do this enough and you store the water, you can bathe in it. You can cook with it. It's something. So this company is very good. They've taught people how to be teachers and to teach everybody how to read and write, and how to do math and science. Donated books and papers and pencils and, you know, anything that they really needed to utilize and educate people. So, you know, this is a great thing. It takes one person, one company, one idea to do something. They got funded, people believed in their cause, and they're from America. And that's what we got to do. As we go and we start helping people, they're going to care. And they're going to say, hey, you know, American people aren't so bad. It's all about showing that you care and properly educating people. But you need data to do it. That's why they went out there and they said, we're going to do our crops for the season, you do your crops. We're going to use only urine, rainwater. And then you water every day just like you usually do. That's all it took. So yeah, that's going on, and I'm waiting on another grade for my bio class, and my English, well, she hasn't done any grades yet. I think she's just waiting for week 5, because, out here, week 6, they have to have grades in, and, how many times we're absent, because if you're absent too much, or you're not passing, you won't get your student loan. That's the way it works. So hopefully by week 6, I'll find out something in that class. Going on week 4 Tuesday, and no essays yet or anything, so I don't know. But that's what's going on. Nothing really much more to talk about at the moment. And, you know, keep everybody updated. Oh, go one more thing. I weighed myself a week ago. I was about 190. Weighed myself 2 days ago. So I was 185. I get water weight. So it's like, oh, well, you know, that must have been just water weight. I weighed myself today, which is 2 days later, and I lost 3 more pounds. But I haven't been able to walk because of the snow. just watching what I eat and making sure I'm drinking plenty of water. And tea is really good for you. So hope everybody have a great day. Happy Friday.